Ooh, bro, I am ready.
You ready for this?
I am on freaking demon mode.
Okay,
I got the
good.
red face logo.
Oh, same.
Look at the
same.
snacks.
Look at the way we came ready. Is that Nutella?
Look at the snacks.
Was that Nutella that I just saw?
They have the FaZe Land. Yes, it was. It was the FaZe Clan Ghost. I said, oh, I gotta cop that.
Facts.
I got freaking Yoo-hoo out here.
Oh my God, he's on savage mode.
And I got the Nutter Butters to dip in the Nutella if I'm feeling really crazy, son. With the Reese's, I'm ready for all the videos tonight, bro. I am on like.
He's a fucking. He's a carnival man, just pulling shit out the fucking bag.
I got the ooh shirt on. I'm on that influencer boxing. I'm smoking
You're
that
on
influencer
smoke.
boxing pack, bro.
You're on smoke. I've got my LaCroix, so.
Okay.
In other words, I'm trying to get bubbly, Sensei, because you and I have been called out. Mostly me, but you were involved in the back end of this, kind of like I am in the back. Never mind.
Whoa, hey.
It's the back room of the massage parlors. But, Sensei, did you, by chance, get to look on Twitter? Somebody was roasting our take on the potential matchup of Jarvis versus Gib in the Kingpin semifinals. Did you get any chance to look at this?
No, I only briefly was like, I heard from you. I saw a tweet or something about.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I get involved with the Gib thing? I'm like, I'm gonna wait. Wade's gonna explain it to me, and then we're gonna talk about it. I'm bringing all the smoke today, so I'm excited for this.
All right, so let's just watch this. So a clip, which you all, as anybody knows, anytime we get clipped, it's usually out of context. But somebody, I'm not even going to... Fupa YouTube boxing. Or no, Fuma. I said Fupa.
Search it on Google.
Don't. Kids, please don't. Please don't. Fuma YouTube boxing said, Gib literally lives in the pocket, just ask Face Sensei with the skull. Responding to our video where we say this, which is in negative 1080p, but here we go. Again, when you throw that...
How do you think Gib approaches this fight? Do you think he's...
It's tough, man. I don't know.
Outside, or do you think he meets him in the middle?
If he meets him in the middle, I don't know if it goes well for him.
Yeah.
Again, when you throw... That was it. So the context around that argument was watching the way that Gib throws or has thrown in the Austin McBroom fight. There have been times in the middle of the exchanges, not necessarily with Austin hurting him, but him going to overhand shots, right?
Yeah.
In exchanges, being able to throw the overhands. And that sometimes is based off what Austin also threw and how Austin elongated and came forward and stumbled over his punches and Gib, boom, overhand right, left hook. Good shots. All good shots. Step back threes. What I was wondering, or I guess pontificating, if you will.
Pontificate.
Come on now. About the Jarvis fight was that Jarvis, in the pocket with Tom Zanetti, was not afraid to throw straight punches. And was pretty keen on staying in the pocket with Tom Zanetti, where Gib, I think, and this is actually a compliment to Gib, is a smart enough fighter to not just stand in range anymore like he used to in fights where he would bury his head in fools' chests and just walk forward, eating whatever to get there. He doesn't do that anymore. He fights behind his jab.
Right.
And obviously the shot there at you was just ask Face Sensei. Well, I responded for you, Sensei.
Whoa, just ask Face Sensei. What are they saying?
They're trying to say that go back and watch the spar with you and Gib. And
they want to talk about the spar?
Hold on. Let's get it. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So I fired back. I said, watch the fights again. Watch what happens when Gib stays in the pocket with Sensei or anyone willing to engage him there. It's a simple read, and one Gib knows because he no longer just bulls his way forward. I think, again, that's a compliment to Gib. To tell, hey, listen, Gib understands that he can't just bully everyone. He's become a more complete boxer. This is what we like about what Gib brings to the table now.
Yeah, he went with his old style against Jake. Obviously, Jake was a more powerful guy. Ran into the jab a lot, right? Got hurt bad, got out of there early. And we saw immediate changes against Taylor Holder. We're seeing the backstep. We're seeing the in and out. We're seeing the setups. And we're seeing a much different fighter. A more, like you said, a more complete fighter, which is what we want. Because he's not a guy. We know he was not a guy. He is a guy that has power now, but he was not a guy that had a lot of power. So he was relying on the cardio and things like that. But didn't really work. But still, even that, with that said, with the power, right? When he fought Gib the first time, kind of put his nose in
Austin,
forward,
when he
put
fought
his
Austin.
forehead forward. Against Austin, yeah. Got dropped early.
Yeah.
Right? We know that him being in and out, him, like you said, behind the jab is the better version of Gib, the best version of him.
The best version of him. And the reason I said I didn't think it went well for him is because I don't think he wants to fight like that anymore. And Jarvis is willing to scrap. And again, we talk about it here all the time, 50-50s. Not that Gib's not willing to scrap, but 50-50s means you're giving your fight, your preparation, your camp, your strategy up to a coin toss. And I think Jarvis is more willing to do that than Gib is, and it's not a good thing.
No, and what we see with Jarvis has that, like, really almost like not a vet, but like a savvy ability. As a boxer develops, they learn how to absorb the punches the correct way, and not off the chin, right? Not straight on the face, off the forehead, right? Off the stronger structures of the head, high guard. He showed a really good high guard against Zanetti. A lot of things that most guys can't do, because most guys in the scene are just like covering up. Whereas like Jarvis is there. He's looking, he's there. And Gib defensively, right? We haven't seen head movement has been pretty good, but
good head movement from Gib.
Good head movement, but I think what we saw from Jarvis to be able to take that from Tom Zanetti, just like every punch, we forget. Again, we might just think back, we saw Zanetti quit. That's because Jarvis was not taking a step back, and Zanetti literally threw every punch he could at Jarvis, and Jarvis is like, I'm right here, son.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So breaking his will. So I agree with that, dude. That would be Jarvis's game. Why would you just enter right into Jarvis's?
Exactly. It doesn't make a lot of sense just to play Jarvis's game. Is kind of, well, listen, the man himself, AnEsonGib, didn't like that to a degree. I honestly, I think it's more of him trying to, well, we'll get to it, but I don't know if he didn't like it or if it was him more playing the game. But here is Gib and his response to both of us, Face Sensei.
I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking about, Wade. Number one.
First off, that was a very aggressive Wade.
Ooh.
Wade.
Okay.
Number one, here we go.
You don't really believe Jarvis has the cojones to stand in front of a man like me to fight me on the inside? Ha! Will be the biggest mistake of his life. Number two. You don't think I know what happens once I hurt Jarvis, once I knock out Jarvis? FaZe Banks will be ringing the assassins, the senseis, the tempers, to try and avenge Jarvis's loss. And best believe, I'll be waiting for them too after the tournament. And number three, both of our opponents quit. Go look at his opponent, smiling and waving to his corner. Me? My opponent was screaming. I'm in the man screaming the ring. So best believe, I'm bringing in that work.
Screaming.
I don't know.
There it is, man.
Austin was screaming.
Austin was screaming. No, it's not funny. Austin was hurt.
No, I will say still, like, Zanetti's, this man literally, Jarvis made this man quit. He had nothing left.
He had nothing.
You know what I mean?
And granted, Zanetti had the deviated septum. We do have to give credence there. But
right, of course.
What this is what I said to this. I was like, I like this. And people were like, no, you got cooked. You know, you try to kiss ass. I'm like, no, this is good. This is what I like.
Good. The one thing is, though, Jarvis is not a part of FaZe. So I'm like, why is he called a thing?
I know. He's like, I'm going to get the ninjas and all the assassins. I think people know by now Jarvis is not a part of FaZe.
Right.
But some words there for us. He doesn't think that Jarvis has the cojones to stand in range with him. I do. Listen, I got to disagree, man, because he had the cojones to stand right there with Tom. And Tom is a big man, and he was throwing.
Listen, Jarvis not only has the cojones, he's also, even if he shouldn't do it.
To a fault,
He is delusional enough to do it to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, he was getting jabbed,
diced,
cooked,
sliced.
He's like, wipe it off.
I'm
going to go right back in there.
Bro, it was a night at Waffle House, and I'm ordering for everyone because Jarvis was getting chunked, diced, capped, smothered, and covered by Floyd Mayweather.
And he was like, hey, can we go again?
Yeah. Now, listen, I think a lot of people are looking at the way we talk about Jarvis and being like, man, y'all are overhyping him, da-da-da. We just see a guy that truly is, like we've said about Gib, especially early on, to a fault, delusional enough to stand in front of people, and a little bit better guard than Gib had when he started, so fair play to Jarvis there. But I don't necessarily think it's the right call for Jarvis either. It's just something I know he's going to do. Where I
Yeah,
know
and
Gib is smart enough to not do
delusional
it.
may not be the right word. It's delusional in a good way because like
Yeah, of course.
fighters, I wish I was more like I'm delusional, and you know this because we just play basketball.
Yeah.
I'm delusional as a shooter,
Yep.
and that makes me a very good shooter.
Dangerous.
Because you'd be like, you ain't pulling it from there
And he'll pull that
Wow.
motherfucker. Catch that shit.
with 1 inch of space. We out here, step back.
I'm not even like,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm like, he's not gonna pull that. Let me just throw a hit. Oh shit! And he just catch it on my head. But no, that's
a lot of fighters have that same thing, and they're willing to just bite down their mouthpiece and step into the fire.
Yep.
And when you have that confidence like that, sometimes it works against you. It did for Gib early. It worked, you know, it helped him, but it was also a big weakness. And for Jarvis, I think it because of his defense that he showed, his high guard, that tight guard, what you see, like I'm not comparing him to Canelo, but stylistically, you
Right.
see that they want to catch it off the gloves and not a tremendous amount of head movement, but just even like Triple G, where he'll just walk in with that high guard and try to absorb the punches the right way so he can counter and land his own power punches. Jarvis is a guy who's done that pretty well for a guy who's new in the scene.
Yep.
You know, so I see something like that. I'm like, I don't know if Gib wants to do that, especially with Jarvis those straight punches and Gib like to loop him around.
Right. I think
you know?
it's also something where if you're Gib, you shouldn't want to do that. Not because you can't, not because you're not man enough. All this, because like you said, you're playing, you're gambling at that point. And Jarvis gambled big in that Tom Zanetti fight. He put all the chips down and said, "This guy, I'm going to be able to take what he's got. Fuck it, here we go." Big gamble.
Why would you do that against Tom Zanetti?
I know, because he just kept throwing and kept throwing. And Slim will tell you it's not the best idea. And Slim found a way to get that one done. You know what I'm saying? So
and Zanetti's fast too.
Fast. He's learning how to box now. So
talk about delusional. He don't care about nothing.
yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, if you're willing to do that, of course he's gonna walk in there to get right. It gives mentality should be I'm gonna school.
I'm gonna
Jarvis.
school you. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna take you to school. Take you to boxing school. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then after school is in session, then the Big Bangs come out, right? Then your season fucking binge watching the Big Bang Theory because the hammers are coming.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
And then he's apparently going to take out me and Temper.
I want to talk about that. He gave that little slide up there at the end because he said you and Temper. Now let's put Tommy aside.
By the way, I was asked. He asked me twice already about the tournament.
I know.
One time backstage, he's like, "Yo."
One time, was it at dinner too? We were sitting there at dinner. He walked up. Or was it a different time?
Yeah, there was a dinner. That was the second time. The first time when we were greeting everybody at the it was at the draft. Whatever. There was that, and he was like, we greet each other, like seeing good guys. It's all good, and he was like, "Why are you doing the tournament?"
Yeah.
I was like, "It's 170 pounds, but
yeah." What we say?
But then. Remember after?
Yeah.
When I think they knew that some of the fighters may not be returning.
Yeah.
It was Gib and Liam was like, what would it take for Sensei to give in? And I was like, what are you saying?
They may see. They think they see something, man. Maybe they taking something away from that spar. Let's put Tommy aside because he's having the baby. Congrats to Tommy on the baby, man. But talk to me about this. Would this be something that you actually entertain?
Let's have some fun.
But you know what? You know why I said? You know why I knew you would say yes is because we've talked about this before, and I've asked you who you would like just for the fight.
And I said Gib would be a fun fight, and I guess let's talk about that. What I mean by it would be a fun fight, right?
Yeah.
There would be obviously no animosity, but let's just talk about boxing, right? There's no beef. I know Gib's talking about beef, but it's me, whatever. But boxing wise, obviously, number one, let's start with the spar. Okay.
Oh, okay. We doing numbers. Hold on. Let me get.
Let me get that. No. I'm just.
Hold on. That's a number one. He ain't about to get me slipping. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm ready.
I gotta write these notes down. Number one. Gib is better than he was when he sparred.
Got it. Gib's trash as fuck. Got it. I'm just playing. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, obviously, I wasn't in shape for that spar.
Okay.
But regardless of me not being in shape.
Yeah.
Okay. The spar I was brought in not to go not to compete with Gib in a sense of like, I'm going to try to beat him. Nor am I saying I'm not saying that by saying, would have just knocked him out right away.
Right.
I'm just
right,
saying,
right.
it wasn't like, hey,
The mentality wasn't we're going to scrap here.
right,
we're
we're
gonna
not fighting.
fight.
We're going to work here. The next thing is,
Also, we should say, I don't
the
mean to
Kenny
interrupt
fight.
you. This is a different Gib that you sparred then. Completely different Gib.
That's what I said. I said, Gib is a lot better now.
Completely different. Just want to make sure
That's what
people
I'm saying.
realize. Yeah.
That was the first thing I'm saying. The first thing I said is Gib is a lot better now
Yeah.
than he was then.
Gotcha.
Different because that was before Jake, and his game completely
changed. Yeah.
Right? Then you have the fight with Kenny and I.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, what people are saying, which I completely understand, is, well, if Sensei fights the same way he fought Kenny,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Gibbs is going to walk right through him, or you're just going to walk him down.
Yeah.
Now,
here's the thing with that.
Here's the thing. You guys got to hear me out. Okay? And if you watch the JJ spar, even though I was hurt, very similar, but with Gibb especially, the spar and the fight with Kenny, I'm a counter puncher at heart, right? And with Kenny, it wasn't that my input was low. I had success with a counter punch and my ability to counter punch, and I feel like I read him early, and I got success, so I was going to live off that.
Yeah.
Kenny realized that, and you have to realize that it was Kenny's output that was low, that in turn caused me to have low output. Since I was going second most of the time. If I'm going second and you're going first, right? I'm playing the waiting game because I'm trying to counter. If Kenny started to throw more, guess what we would have got? More output for me.
Right.
Right? I'm not a guy who just would have been like, oh, I'm not going to throw, not going to throw, not going to throw, and just sit back. If you watch the fight, it wasn't like I was trying to disengage.
Right.
I wasn't trying to disengage from Kenny. I was trying to draw him on.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him to engage. He was the longer fighter, trying to get him to engage, trying to draw him out. It wasn't like he was trying to engage with me, and I'm over here running and sliding and avoiding, clinching, and I wasn't like disengaging and trying to avoid the fight. Right? Kenny was the one trying to not engage or draw me out. Right? This battle went back and forth.
Right. You guys are doing the same thing. Yeah.
Right. And then I went. So since he wasn't going first, he went first early. I had success. He went first again in the third. I had success, etc. Right? So you have to realize, if you're asking me stylistically, my style kind of molds, I think, to whoever I'm fighting. If the reason I said Gib would be a fun fight, right? Let's bring it all together now.
Yeah.
Okay. Gib would be a fun fight because I know Gib is going to come forward and he's going to give me a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Therefore, my output would be fantastic, right? If you look at now, let's take it back to the spar.
Okay.
I did throw a lot of punches. However, my output was trash in the middle of it because I literally had no energy because I was gassed. Right?
Okay, so let's say that they're looking at that and being like, bro, if you can gas him in a spar, you're going to gas him in 6 rounds, 5 rounds, whatever it is.
That was a 6-round spar.
Yeah.
My mentality going into it, which I've said from the beginning, that spar, I was like, okay, I don't know what he was going to do, but I'm going to have to take 2, maybe 3 rounds off because he wants to do 6.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to go 6 at Gibbs pace. He's going to throw 100 punches a round in a spar, right? So there's just no way. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So I already knew I had to take a couple rounds off, and I did. But you can see in moments of it when Gibb was coming forward, again, I'm not just trying to disengage. A lot of it was we were forehead to forehead.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to push him off actually so I can throw. And his head was just literally in my chest or on my forehead trying to throw punches. So there was like literally no space to throw. But again, with the sparring gear and the headgear, and that's something that was a big talking point back then. And Gibb has thus changed that. When Gibb would lead with his head, run into the jab a lot. This would happen with Jake, or we'd be clashing a lot with our heads. But since we have headgear, it doesn't happen, right? So it's just you have to, like, would the fight be very interesting? The reason I would say yes, and again, people may be watching, but look at the output from Kenny, whatever. Listen, if somebody comes forward and starts throwing punches like that, fantastic. I would love that because I'm just going to react. I'm a counter puncher. So if you throw, I'm going to throw, right? What happens is that you get a counter puncher versus a counter puncher.
Yeah.
Then obviously for me, it becomes tricky.
Yep.
And this is where I would be honest, this fight with Gibb would be a lot better than like me versus Saul Poppy. because me versus Saul Poppy could be literally a dud of a
Snooze
fight.
fest, yeah.
It really could be, because it would have to be one of us being like, you know what,
Fuck it.
screw it,
Yeah.
and then one of
Here we
us is
go,
gonna
yeah.
get cracked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we know that, because we're smart fighters. In terms of, we're counter fighters,
Yeah.
like to fight off the back foot. So I can be straight out about that, 100% honest.
Yeah.
Whereas like Anthony Taylor, that would be a more fun fight for me, because I would counter a lot more, because
Right.
he's gonna give me a lot to work with.
So we got
So,
Anthony Taylor on the list now as well. Okay. Anthony Taylor.
Look at JJ, bro. The JJ.
JJ.
spar, look at-
Okay. JJ's on the
look at the
list.
JJ spar.
Okay.
Look at the
KSI
JJ
next.
spar.
Got it. Sorry. Go ahead.
The JJ spar with me, obviously I was hurt. My rib was hurt.
Yep.
But he was throwing a lot, and I was trying to engage, but my head movement was like on the inside, trying to find openings and
Right.
survive and not get hit in the ribs, right?
Right.
But it wasn't like I'm just like I didn't want to throw,
Right.
right? So again, if you get a guy who wants to counter punch, you might get like a point karate match from me, because I get sucked into that kind of fight.
Yeah.
But I don't even know who else besides Kenny. Who else would that be?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you said Poppy, so that's kind of tough.
Like my mate Nate is maybe a guy that could be a thing where we get into like a
Nah,
like
Nate
kind of a
Nate wanted
dull-
to blitz. He was coming. He was coming for that.
Yeah, it's true.
And Kenny
still,
walked him
he's
onto
still
the
a
right
taller
hand.
guy. Taller guy. Like you
Yeah.
give me a shorter guy who's just gonna like
Home.
like you're gonna have a great fight,
Yeah.
because we're gonna go, and I'm gonna be looking for power shots, just like literally what happened with Kenny. What happened with Kenny in the first couple seconds, where he came forward with that jab, and
Mhm.
I countered with hard punches.
Mhm.
That's it. Literally, I'll be doing. I'll be throwing bombs.
Okay, so you
You know?
heard it here first, folks. Sensei just said he's going to counter Gib with a big overhand right and knock him silly in the first 5 seconds of the fight. That's what he said. That's what we heard. And
The fuck?
genuinely too, I will say this. While this is a fun matchup, I also know that Gib is a very good salesman when he wants to be.
Yes.
And I think that's part of what this is. But I also want to say that I do think they like that matchup for him.
Yeah, I would not agree to 6 rounds though. I'll tell you
That's what
that
I'm
right
saying.
now.
So now that's what I'm saying. So now we got terms. We the A side over here, Gibbs. Sorry.
Be
bro.
like,
We the
we
A
on that
side.
Salt Poppy round. Keystar. I'm the captain.
2.5?
Push.
2.5? What we say?
2.5. 3 twos. What we say?
We're at the auction for rounds. But
3 ones.
there it
Two-
is.
two of the
Yeah,
rest.
we get the Wings of Redemption rounds. There it is, folks. Our response to a Nissan Gib.
No.
Genuinely, we love Gib over here. We love a
Love
little
it.
back and
Love
forth. But hey, man, you know what I'm saying? If you keep asking, you might just get it. That's all I'm saying. You keep asking, the man might just come out of bed and go, what we saying?
You know, I personally enjoy
I know.
that kind of.
This is great.
because it makes the fight easier for me with Kenny. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. Okay, here we go. It's
Especially
like the Mike
if
Perry thing.
Gib is going to do what he says here, and he goes,
Faint.
yeah.
Faint.
Right.
You go first. You go first.
Yeah.
I like when a guy goes, I'm going first. All right, I guess I'm just going second today. You know.
But if Gib were to, we'll end it here, but this is obviously taken in that Gib would meet you in the center and throw like he says he would do to Jarvis. But if he fought a little smarter,
he would. No, he would, bro.
you think so?
Gib, listen, that's why I like Gib, because Gib's like that.
No, I know he's like that, but I don't
He's
want.
not, he wouldn't be like.
I don't.
Even if I cracked him, he'd be like right back there, like, oh,
let's go again.
Sensei.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean, bro? His energy, bro. When we sparred,
I know.
he's
Yeah.
a warrior. That's why he does so well, because he's a warrior.
We know this. We've seen it by
So-
this point. But there's our response. Nissan Gib. We think as a smarter fighter would be the best play for you. This is why we said what we said. But we also know you're a dog over there. And that's why you called out Face Sensei. And like I said, you ask a couple more times, you might just get that. But comment section, you let us know down below. What does Face Sensei do about this? What does Gib do in the ring with Jarvis? What does Jarvis got to say about all this? We don't have those answers, but formerly FaZe Jarvis and Gib will be going down round 2 of the Kingpin tournament, where I guess we'll
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.